Today, what I want to discuss is this topic. 2 reasons why I've found again and again the false feminine starts in women. I'm going to take a drink from my tea. If you haven't met the Queen Bee mug before, this is the Queen Bee mug. So the first reason is if as a child or as you were growing up, you didn't have feminine role models, what happened is we started to look outside of ourselves for those things. We didn't have a name for it. I wouldn't have said I'm looking for feminine role models or I'm looking for some sort of way to be. You know, how do I be as a little woman, as a young woman, right? And so we look outside of ourselves, and then we're also looking for validation in an ever-changing world. And we were seeing things that we couldn't categorize, so we didn't have a model or an idea as to, well, that doesn't feel quite right, but that feels better, or that doesn't feel quite right, but somehow I'm being told that in being like that, I'm going to be validated, I'm going to be loved more, and I'm going to get what I want, right? Now, the second reason is that there may have been trauma in your childhood. Now, this could have happened through sexual or emotional trauma, and this can cause in us a huge fear and self-preservation or coping response, a survival response that is in the background of everything that we do, and that is often what we build our very personality on, let alone our beliefs, our values, and our actions, okay? And this can lead to a couple of things in women. This can lead to them being what I would call oversexed, in the sense that they end up having a lot of sex, but it's very much sort of through this fear-based or masculine lens. Or they can end up very cut off from their sexuality, that they don't feel confident in their body, in their sexuality, or in their feminine nature and feminine power. These 2 things that I've seen, of course, they can both be at play, right? Now, they were at play for me. I didn't have sexual trauma, but I definitely had very severe emotional trauma as a little girl. So I had neither the feminine role models, and I was pretty much left alone, which was very traumatic as a child, okay? So essentially, what do we do about this? So if we discover that we have either of these 2 things, we didn't have feminine role models, or we've got some sort of trauma that can get triggered as an adult, remember. So even if this happened as a little girl, we have things that can trigger us in our life that take us right back there, right? Okay. So that's the work that I had done. You know, I do this with women, this trauma work individually also, okay? But these are the 2 things that I've seen that are really, really powerful to help us to get into the true feminine. It's essentially 2 things. The first is we need to learn, or really relearn, the feminine arts and skills to be feminine. As in, there are arts and skills that are different faculties, different ways and means, different ways of being, moving, communicating with others. And of course, there's a whole relationship to our self piece that is preeminent in the true feminine work, okay? So in order to stand in our queen, there's a primary relationship that we need to get back into, which is that with ourselves. There's a learning of being in a relationship to yourself that is loving, caring, and empowered. And, you know, I often do this gesture of false feminine to true feminine because there is an elevated experience inside when we stand in the queen. Akin to, you know, in the false feminine, we're in the forest and we can't see anything but the trees in front of us. And in the true feminine, we stand up and we can see the forest for the trees, as in we have a much broader vista of ourselves, of our queendom, of our relationships, of our communications, and you start to get a broader vista of your sense of purpose and of your life, okay? The second thing we need to do that I have found to be so beautiful, simple, scary for some people at first, and yet so powerful, is that of having a supportive community or sisterhood to consistently encourage you into your true feminine self and power again and again and again. Now, I have seen women who will, for example, they'll purchase my program, the Powerfully Feminine Intensive, and I create an entire support network of a private sisterhood, of Zoom community calls, coaching calls, constant feedback, constant support by the community and myself, and yet they don't take me up on that piece of it. And I'm pretty sure that them getting more knowledge about feminine power is not going to change things very much. I don't get to interact with them, so I often don't know the outcome of that. And maybe it's the thing that starts them on their path, and I'm happy to provide that for them. And yet it's my observation that those that embrace the community and the sisterhood, even if it's terrifying to them, even if they haven't trusted women in the past, even if they believe that women are just catfighting and competing with each other, read false feminine, they embrace this and they courageously go, okay, I wonder if I could be in sisterhood in a way where I relate differently to women. And when I learn to both support and be supported by other women, I wonder what that would be like. So much, much love from my heart to you. Big whoosh from my heart. And I will see you back here tomorrow. Sending so much love. Bye-bye for now.